Aloha, everyone, and this is the live Q&A podcast. So I do this once a month, and you all have the opportunity to ask questions, and you can let me know those questions in advance, and I answer them on here. Or you can join me today, and I can see your questions coming up here, and I can answer them here. So whatever you want to do. We'll go ahead and get started today. So today is a special one because you guys should know by now that yesterday was my birthday. And for my birthday, what I did to celebrate with you all is I put together this pitch makeover competition. So you could enter the pitch makeover competition. The people that did got notified, hey, you're in the competition. This is what you have to do. So they made a quick YouTube video on why they should win and telling their friends and family to spread it. So they shared it across multiple platforms. We've got Twitter, we've got Facebook, LinkedIn. I think people shared it on Pinterest or Google too. So that's exciting. And, maybe I'll just hold this till the end. So no, I'll go ahead and do it now. So the winner, and let's see, how many times did he share it? I should have had this information. Well, so as I'm looking this up, I'm gonna go ahead and answer the first question that I'm seeing why I looked this up. So, okay. So I'm looking for this answer, and I'll go ahead and get started on the questions. The first question I have that did come into me says, actually, let me do my intro. For those of you not watching me on video now, for those of you listening to me, you're listening to me tomorrow, or you're finding this later in the week on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, we're on SoundCloud. You can find the podcast on YouTube. Let me go ahead and do my intro. So we'll open the show officially. So, e como mai and aloha. You're listening to Inspired by Imua, where we help you master the waves of medical product development. Each week, we interview guests that educate, guide, and inspire to give you and your product the skills you need to hang 10. If this is your first time listening, Imua is spelled I-M-U-A, and it's a Hawaiian word. It means to advance forward with passion despite rough waves. So there are plenty of those in the medical product development industry, but keep listening because we've got you covered. Now, today's a little bit different because, like I said, I do the live once a month Q&A. Okay, so I mentioned I had my first question come in, why I look for something about the winner. So my first question, I've got my devices made in China and I want to distribute them in the US, but my Chinese manufacturer doesn't have a GMP certification. How do I remedy this? So for those of you who don't know, and I apologize again, I am looking for this. So for those of you that don't know, GMP means good manufacturing practices. And the sticky situation that he's in, he's meaning that he's getting all these made and he has the product, he has it in stock, but he can't bring it into the US because this is it's a regulated market here, like most other countries in the world are also regulated. But there's tight restrictions on the US. You have to go through verification and validation. You have to go through our regulatory pathways, and you have to show certain documentation that essentially your devices are what they are. You know, is the plastic what they say it is? Is the electronics, is this safe? You know, if someone's gonna plug this into the wall, is it going to explode, or is it made of a tested product? So we want to see all those. Unfortunately, when you choose to manufacture overseas, a lot of times this is overlooked. And he basically should have done that homework before he got into it. And he knows that now. He knows that he made a mistake, but how do you remedy this going forward? So that was I just wanted to give you some background into the current situation. So what I would say is the best steps moving forward is to just reevaluate the situation, see if you can transfer any of the molds that are involved in this device or any of the pieces that are involved. See if you can get it to another manufacturer and have them look everything over, make sure the specs are correct, make sure things have been done correctly, and then you can move forward from there. So that's just the best answer I have. That's the short answer. We can have definitely a deeper discussion on this. So I told you I was looking for something about the winner, and I just found it. So I wanted to see exactly how many times he had shared this post. So our winner is James Davis out of Florida. And James, I'm really excited to be working with you. You are super passionate, and I could tell immediately when we talked on the phone that you just have a heart for improving medicine, and so do I. So James shared this a total of 156 times, or let me rephrase that. He got 156 shares. So that means in combination of him sharing it, his colleagues, his friends, anyone that saw his video and decided to share it, it's been shared that many times, and he was head and shoulders way above anybody else. So congratulations there. That was the winner, whoever could get the most shares. So essentially, people were voting socially. And this is not the only time that I'm going to be doing this. This was kind of the test run. I saw what worked and what didn't, and I saw some things that I could have improved on too. But sneak peek, later on, we're going to be having an actual pitch competition this way. So just not for a pitch makeover, but actual, hey, I want to win cash. And I'm going to incorporate this socialness into it. So that's coming. I'll keep you posted on it. It's going to be a while down the road. Okay. So if anybody, let me jump back over to this screen. So I want to see if anybody has any questions that you want answered, but until then, we'll go ahead and we'll get started on the ones that I've already had coming in. So I was doing this competition, like I said, for my birthday. Jen is asking, how was your birthday? It was actually very amazing. We went to downtown DC, so I took a Uber down there with my dog, actually. So yes, dogs can go in Ubers. And I just let the Uber driver know, hey, I have my dog with me. Is this okay? Because I realize not everybody wants dog hair in their Uber. And both of them actually, the way there and then the way back, both of them said it was fine. And I just tipped them a little extra because I know she did leave some hair behind. But anyway, we went into the city. We stayed at the Donovan Hotel. And I highly recommend that if you haven't been there. It's got a great location, dog-friendly hotel. It's a Kimpton, and they're always very modern and have free coffee and tea down in the lobby in the mornings, but then they have free happy hour. So they'll be passing out red wine and white wine. Then we got sushi. Then I got brunch yesterday at Masa 14. So I recommend that to you. A bottomless brunch, all you can eat, all you can drink, $40. It was pretty great. So that's the recap on my birthday. And then like I said, the cherry on top was that I get to celebrate it and work with James now for the pitch makeover. So we'll keep in touch. We'll show you his progress as he's going forward. So that'll be fun. Okay, the next question. Can you explain the difference between my offerings? So I have invention idea to profitable product. I have the boardroom and the medical device starter kit. And this is kind of confusing. I can see where it's confusing. So let me break it down for you. The medical device starter kit, I'm being completely transparent. It is for the absolute beginner. And you don't know if you want to pursue this at all. You're just kind of gathering information. You want to learn about the process. It's a very easy $47 purchase, and it includes some assessments about your idea, as well as education about the process. So how do you bring a medical device to market? What are the steps involved? What do I need to be doing? When do I need to be doing that? And then giving you some guidance on your idea and kind of some next steps as to how you can move it forward. Now, invention idea to profitable product would be kind of the next logical step from that starter kit. In this, it's a 100-day program, and it's meant for you to go from idea to fundable business in 100 days. And it's what I call a virtual pre-accelerator. So it's before you get into an accelerator like Y Combinator or 500 startups. With those, you definitely want to have proof of concept and you have to have a lot of confidence that your product is going to make it. And those accelerators too tend to take an equity stake. And mine, there's no equity stake. It's, again, the emphasis is on you moving forward and you bootstrapping as much of this as you can. So we want to find out if the idea is a great idea, then we go forward from there. And you go through 6 different modules, and then the 6th and last module is all about pitching. So we take what we learned before, and then we wrap it up into the pitch, because the reality of a great pitch, and what we're going to do with James as he goes through this, is that it's not just getting up and talking with someone. You have to do a lot of work before you even get to that point. So we want to prep you for that. Actually, I'm going to pause here, and I realized I didn't share this on my own personal Facebook page. So I just did that. It gives us a few more eyeballs on here. Okay. And these are any and all questions. So it doesn't matter what questions you ask. I'm just picking some of the ones that I got in. The next one, so this is business related. So it seems like each pitch competition is different. How do I tailor my pitch for each competition? So Jeff is asking this. Jeff, it is different, and some of them have different reasons that they're hosting the pitch competition. Maybe it's a company that is looking for new ideas, like they want to acquire technology, so they're having this. Or maybe they have a specific initiative, like, hey, we're looking to fight sepsis. So they're looking for technologies that are going to fit in that. Or maybe they're fueling the local economy. So maybe this is a pitch competition based on where you live, and they're trying to grow and retain business in that area. So that could be it too. But the more and more you know about why they're having the pitch competition in the first place and who's behind it, then you can tailor your pitch to each one. And, you know, this is kind of like getting a job in a way. If you've applied for jobs, you should probably know, if you don't already, that you shouldn't just send the same resume for every single job, because you want to tailor it to what they're looking for. So if they use particular verbiage, then put that in your resume, put it in your cover letter. You want to tailor that to them. Same thing with who's hosting these pitch competitions, like not only the organization that's hosting it, but then also the panel of judges, if you know that ahead of time. So that's a good hint for you. And yes, some of them will be a quick fire pitch competition where it's a minute or a minute and a half. Some will be 3 minutes, some will be 10 minutes, some you even get 20 minutes. And so what I would advise for you to do there is just have the general bones of a pitch and have a few different versions of it. Have that really quick version, and then have all the way to the 20-minute version. And you can kind of plug and play depending on which audience you're speaking to. So that's the best answer I can give you. More. Speaking of that, if you want more pitching tips, last week I just did an episode with Laura Peterson over at Copy That Pops podcast. So I'll actually write her website, copythatpops.com. So here's a link to her show. Mine's episode number 56. And what Laura does is she does copywriting mainly for people in sales. So if you think about it, that's what you do when you're pitching. So we have a great discussion about the psychology and strategy that goes into copywriting for pitches. And then I give some additional pitch tips on her podcast. So go check that out, copythatpops.com, episode 56. So there's more information there. Okay, so let's see. Let's move over to the next question. Okay, I've been pitching for a while and I'm just not meeting the right investors. So what are some good resources to help me find the ones that are interested in my idea? So Jessica, that's a wonderful question. It's actually one that I get quite a bit. You know, people have been pitching and they just feel like they're not pitching to the right people. So, and this may not be the answer that you want to hear, but there's lots of variables. So it could be, you know, is your due diligence really solid? Has someone really checked out the work? Are you doing your homework on those investors before you meet them? Do you have an idea if what they're looking for is what you're providing? And then you can kind of tell from there what the problem is. So kind of diagnosing it in a way. What I see a lot is how people will go do a lot of pitching, and it seems like there's all this activity with the investors, and then the pitch happens and they just kind of fall off the radar and say, we're not interested anymore. And it's kind of like, well, why don't you give me feedback on this? Because you were really interested before. And the honest truth is a lot of people don't want to be honest. That's kind of ironic that I'm saying that. But it's true. So people aren't necessarily going to tell you, hey, I wasn't impressed by your pitch. I don't like it. I don't like your idea. I don't have confidence in you. And so you're not going to get that right away. But what you can do is have someone look over your pitch, and it's going back to more than just the pitch. It's the way you present the pitch. It's you as a person. You know, are they confident investing in you? Because you're going to be the one driving it forward ultimately. So you have to have a successful track record. And if you don't have a successful track record, you want to tie yourself to those that do. So people in your company that have a successful track record, or a board of advisors that do. Then it gets back to due diligence on your product. Like, how well have you done your market research? What's the potential market share that you could capture? Is your idea clinically needed? So I was talking with someone the other day, and he was telling me that he's reached out to all these people and no one's interested in his idea. And he was saying, well, it just seems like they're greedy. Like, they just want to make money and they're not interested in improving healthcare. And I said, no, that's not the case at all. But there is that bottom line of if this is something we're going to be moving forward with, it has to be clinically relevant. It has to be much better than what we're already using out there for us to switch and to get the clinicians to use your device. Because in his case, it was going to be a major, major behavioral shift. So to get the whole industry to shift what they've been doing for decades, is it worth it? That maybe his device will have a 2% decrease in infection rates. I don't know. And I'm not the person that crunches those numbers. And so I can't honestly tell you there, but those are just some pointers that I have. If you're not getting traction with your pitch, is to just work with someone and find those people that will be brutally honest with you, and then do kind of a checkpoint analysis. So do a 360 view of you, of your background, of your pitch, of the due diligence of your product on the market, the IP, how clinically relevant is it, all of that stuff. And then you'll be able to diagnose it further from there. Okay, how do you like living in Virginia? We miss you in California. Thanks, Ben. I missed everyone in California also. And Virginia, it's actually pretty great. It's not California, but it's really beautiful. in its own way. Like, it's very, very green here. And I had never seen a springtime as dramatic as here. I mean, I grew up in Texas. I lived in Hawaii. I lived in California. So there we always had pretty good weather the whole year round. And I guess I did see a little bit of a spring in Texas, but it wasn't, I mean, in the wintertime, it looked like everything was dead here. Like, no leaves on the trees. All of the plants were in terrible shape. And then all of a sudden, over like a 2 or 3 week period, everything was blooming all at once. So yeah, that was amazing. And yeah, I look forward to the seasons. I like how I'm in close proximity of things. So over here, as far as med tech, biotech, life science, medical devices, we kind of have different hubs on the East Coast. So some going on in Florida. We've got more going on up in Raleigh and in Southern Maryland, a little bit in DC, Virginia. We've got Philly, Boston, New York, and it's all really close. I mean, it's not like being in California and driving to San Francisco. Like, that's a far drive. I could very well fly easily. But yeah, so I'm just maximizing my time in these little hubs and getting to know people and finding out more about what's going on over here and really getting plugged in. So that's been fun. So I don't see any other questions coming through, and I know this was a short one, so it's last call right now for anything going on. Any last comments? Let's see if I have any announcements coming up. Well, I do want to encourage you to check out those options that I covered earlier. So the programs that I have for you: Invention Idea to Profitable Product, the Medical Device Starter Kit, and the Boardroom. Oh, I didn't touch on the Boardroom, did I? So duh. So the Boardroom, it is a Monday. That's my excuse. And the day after my birthday. There we go. I'll stick with that. So the Boardroom is kind of a hybrid of coaching and consulting. And I do one-on-one consulting, but as with any consulting, it can get expensive quickly because it's one-on-one. And so the Boardroom is just a unique option that pairs occasional one-on-one consulting with group coaching. So it's coaching where we do a Facebook Live session like this, but we also all get on a conference call, and there'll be like 6 to 10 of us on a Zoom call, and we're talking that way. And so it just lowers the price, but it's still this small group environment. So that's great too. And then more so, I would say that my strength has traditionally been in connecting people to whatever they need. So resources, great restaurants, things to do. In business, definitely the resources you need, the funding that you need, the different types of funding. So whether you're trying to get your first grant, it's an SBIR grant, or whether I have a great, oh my gosh, she's so awesome. Her name is Liz. I have to give her a shout out. And she connects you to all these different government grants. There's all kinds of stuff depending on what you are needing. So she does a thorough assessment and finds out the best for you. I also have resources obviously for crowdfunding, all different types of crowdfunding platforms. Then the individual type of investors, angel investors, family office funding. We've got venture capitalists. So it just depends on you and your technology. And then as you're getting funded, and then once you get the big rounds of funding later, also I have product development partners. So everything that you need, from intellectual property lawyers to regulatory specialists to, hey, where do I do my clinical trials? Or I'm looking to manufacture abroad, and I don't want to end up like the guy that asked the first question, to where he chose a manufacturer that doesn't have a system set up. They're not set up to where they have their good manufacturing practice certificate. So you want to find one that does. How do you do that and know, okay, later, once this is done, I'll be able to bring my product in the US, no problem. So I can connect you with all that. So I'd love to talk to you. That's usually the best way to get all of this discussion started. So you can always make an appointment with me. So don't feel bad about reaching out to me. I actually love that, and I prefer it. I get lonely sometimes if I'm not talking with people on the phone or talking with people in person. So yeah, hit me up, and we'll do this next month. Let's see. What's about a month from now? Let's look at the date here. Waiting for my calendar to open up. Seems like I'm having a slow day technologically. Like I think that was like 15 seconds for my calendar to load. Okay, 1, 2, 3. July, ooh, Maybe we'll push this off till Monday, July 24th, I think. Probably so, because I will be in Alaska the 10th through the 18th. My husband's cousin is getting married and they live up there, and yeah, it'll be really fun to see Alaska in the summer. So I won't be available to do this the 10th or the 17th. That's usually a month after this one. So that's okay. We'll make that adjustment. So July 24th, if you have any questions before then that you want me to answer on the live stream, let me know. And I'd love to get more people live on the live stream. And it's if you haven't been on Facebook Lives before or anything like this before, you can just ask your questions and it pops up on my screen and I can answer it. We can do that. And I also want to start having more fun with this. Like I bring someone else on. So I can be talking and then the screen can be split and there's two of us. So it's a little bit more exciting than just watching me talk. And you can ask the other person questions too. So if you have any suggestions at all or any special requests, I feel like I'm a DJ here. So taking special requests, you can dedicate it to someone, whatever. Anyway, let me know and have a great rest of your Monday and a great rest of the week. Oh, and go check out copythatpops.com, episode 76 for some great pitch, psychology, and copywriting tips. Aloha.